Well, we almost weren't live. I don't know if you. Sorry, if those of y'all that are just tuning in and you wonder why we started with one last commercial technology.
I hit the go live button, brother. I hit it when we started.
It's all right.
I did hit it.
As long as one of us caught it. Welcome to another episode of Lounge with Legends. This busy week, man. It's if you guys have noticed, I was late doing the sizzle reel. So James is talking about tomorrow, today, and it's been crazy, but it's because business is taking off. So that's always a good thing.
Well, but, my sometime is now, no pun intended.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and then tomorrow we got some big things going on.
Yeah, I guess you're going to get on an aircraft, I guess, and fly down here to Raleigh, North Kakalaki, and ruin the scenery. I mean, make the scenery better. Coming down here to Raleigh to do something. What are you doing on Friday?
I don't know. I think we're going to be doing bam, 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 whatever. Bam, that.
Well, at least we're live.
We're live to do it. Yeah, I'm coming down to visit my Ranger buddy. We're going to be at the City Club Raleigh doing a branding course, the Avengers Guide to Superhero Branding and Authority Marketing. And it's going to be a blast. I'm excited. We've already seats are limited, but they're still taking reservations. So it's going to be a great event. Definitely worth me coming down and hanging out with you. Plus, we get to meet more people. So I'm excited, brother.
I'm excited too. Before we get too far down the road, though, I promised somebody this weekend that I would send them a shout out. So I got to make sure I do that. So I don't know about you. I was a little late. I've been sick a little bit. So I've been late getting up my Christmas tree stuff. So my Christmas stuff, I needed some help. So I had to ask my daughter's boyfriend, Connor, to help me do that. And he helped me. So I said, hey, I'm going to give you a shout out because I always get on to you a little bit on the show. So I'm going to say, hey, Connor, thanks for your help. You're an amazing dude. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Alana. There you go.
There you go. Nice. Oh, my. How the tides have turned, my friend. How the tides have turned. So we got that going on. I mean, just so many exciting things that some of it we can't even talk about right now. But I want to talk about our guest.
Well, hey, this one here is special to me. They all are special. This one's special. And, this is someone that, was to my left flank and right flank probably during some deployments together. And after 28 years of military service, he decided to retire and start Frontline Fitness.
This is what we're talking about.
And I tell you, the things that he's doing, he's transforming lives through fitness. And you're going to learn about him, the things that he's doing, and the amazing family that he has as well.
Once you mentioned him and gave me the bio and we talked about it, I was like, this is a no-brainer. It's I love people that are like Kenny. And I just met him briefly in the green room, and this is going to be a great episode. It's almost like a continuation with his story, kind of last week with Eddie White, how he raised strong women, strong daughters, and this is how do you create a strong family and network? And I think when you find out family is larger than the nuclear family as well, I think that was just coming out as we were just talking to Kenny just a little bit. So I'm excited, brother.
This is going to be huge. A lot of lessons learned coming this way too on this episode from him.
Are you saying grab pen and paper?
Airbound.
Time to go to school. All right, let's get him in here. You ready, brother?
Let's go. Let's get him.
Bam.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Sorry about that, Kenny. We got somebody rogue on the system today. It looks like taking over.
No worries.
Oh, I told you before, Kenny. We're executing dead gunner drills, so that was our first go round. That's okay. It happens. We're still here. Nobody died. Nobody got shot. We're okay.
It's part of the process, right?
It is. Oh, wait a minute. Uncle Roy's here.
Uh-oh. Uncle Roy's here.
So welcome, Kenny. Again, man, dude, I'm sad that we only spent 15 minutes together already. I wish it was more because just talking to you, I'm freaking stoked. But I'll let um, I'll let James do more of the intro here since he can kind of pull out how did you guys meet? Where did you guys meet?
Wow, I think it's when we were lieutenants. James, correct me if I'm mistaken, but we were both PLs uh, in the STB, I believe. You were an MP, PL.
Well, what happened was I actually was a captain. I acted like a lieutenant, but I was a captain. We met as captains, and then when I left 82nd, when Marty finally let me go and cut sling and let me go, that's when we met down there at the 30th Brigade. But yeah, I probably acted like a lieutenant, but I was a captain by somehow the federal government promoted me.
Many years ago. Yeah, and we just kind of locked arms, man, and been brothers ever since.
Yeah, the thing about Kenny, he leads with value, and the funny thing is, not the funny thing, the great fact about him is, even though we met as captains, I could have met him years ago because he thinks just like you and I do, Marty. So I mean, leads with value. It's amazing. But so peeling that back, tell us about that. You didn't start out as a lieutenant though. You started out prior to that. How'd you start that out?
Yeah, I did. First I'll just say that, I come from a long line of military. My dad was a World War II vet. I'm the youngest of five. I have three older brothers and a sister. All of my brothers served. My oldest brother's a Vietnam vet. My next brother served in the Navy, so on and so forth. So for me, it was really a no-brainer. I don't even know if the program is still around, but the delayed entry program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was
remember
a
that.
junior in high school and had already signed up. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It's just what the men did in my family. I saw the pride, I saw the honor with each of them, and it gave them opportunities that many did not have where we grew up at. So, it took them out of that environment. It gave them an opportunity to see the world, to serve, and to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And I saw the pride and the honor that gave them, and the self-respect. It had what I like to consider or refer to as intrinsic value. Whether you get the badges, the tabs, the awards, the medals, just the fact that you can represent that red, white, and blue. I saw that in the men in my family, man, and I wanted a piece of it. So, I came in enlisted, regular Army, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. And from there, went to the Big Red One. No mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great. Duty first, always forward. Well, remember that for life. And came to Bragg, did a tour, did 3 years with 7 Special Forces group, did the whole aerosol airborne thing. And I transitioned into the reserves for about 3 or 4 years. And I went back to school and then later came back in the Guard and then started over as a butter bar, second lieutenant. And I just felt like, I didn't want, as a senior NCO, I mean, you do get some involvement in the planning, but I just felt like I got pulled in too far down the road. I wanted to be involved in some of those initial planning meetings so that I could have greater impact and, a larger group of soldiers, et cetera. And I just felt like that I could have a greater impact at that next level as a commissioned officer. So I made the switch, and it was just one of the best moves for my career. Had just a wonderful career, was blessed to serve 28 years, as James mentioned. And I spent the majority of my AGR time, my active time in the Guard with the 30th Armored Brigade Combat Team. And had the variety of jobs, PL, company commander, was really fortunate to be in command, downrange, commanded 2 different companies. And I would have to say that was probably, wow, man, really the pinnacle of my career. I thrive on challenges. I have this thing where I say every man needs a mountain. Every guy, we need that challenge. We need something bigger than us where we have to give all, whether it's physical, mental, or a combination of all of the above. And company command downrange did that for me. I mean, there was days, brother, you're run ragged and you're stressed, to the umpteenth degree. You're worried about losing Joes. We're up and down the MSR, etc. But you find a way. You find a way to get the mission accomplished. When your soldiers see you, they don't see any of that. They see rock steady, and that's what you have to present. To keep everybody focused, keep everybody driven, and to help minimize some of those doubts and fears that they may be experiencing. As well as that you're experiencing yourself. So that was great, man. Again, I would have to say, not just in my career, besides some of the things that I've done with my family, that was really, I think I learned some of my greatest lessons as a person, as a man, as a leader during those 18 months, during those times being away during deployment, whatever.
That's huge. And I love, we have another Lieutenant Dan, like my father's father, cousin, brother, it's, and James and I can both connect because it's basically the military is the family business.
Yeah.
There's other safer lines of work that we could probably get into, but this is the call. It's a no brainer. You're going to serve. And that's huge. And I love that you just dropped so many lessons that you've already carried with you, from your days as enlisted. I know I appreciate that, being enlisted, moving to the officer ranks. Were you taking notes, James?
Already taking notes, man. Whenever you're around Kenny, you got to pull out an index card because you're going to get some knowledge bombs dropped. And, and you learn something new. We've known each other for years, but I learned something new about you every single time we meet. I can think about, grabbing lunch with you at Jersey Mike's, and we're not throwing a plug out. We're not getting sponsored by Jersey Mike's or anything, but just having those conversations with you, are infectious, and you have so much knowledge. That's amazing. I just appreciate it. Did you get anything, Moak? I know you're the master of all knowledge. Are you taking notes though?
Oh man, of course. I mean, what I love about it is that you talk about having to be rock steady. But knowing that in your mind, you got a whole bunch of stuff you got to figure out. And Absolutely. Then, but there's that point where as a leader, as a dad, you need to be rock steady. But when do you find time to decompress or find a release? Otherwise, you're going to blow. It's kind of like a Pulp Fiction. I'm in the red, right?
Yep.
How do you find that? And how do you do it? Is that through fitness? Is that through what? I mean, what's that outlet?
Yeah, believe it or not, and that's kind of why I'm here today. I mean, this fitness has just been such an integral part of my life, my mental health. It just doesn't help me physically. You like to look good, but feeling good and what it does for you mentally and emotionally. The time that we did get, when we weren't out on missions or we weren't in training meetings and, just all the different things you have to do, while you're downrange, or just in general, just during your career, being downrange is not the only time that you experience stress. It does happen to be some of the most stressful times though, but me, that is my outlet. That's part that makes up, I think some of the bedrock of who I am. Fitness is really part of my DNA, so to speak, and being able to go and move some of that heavy weight around and get up under a barbell full of weights and get those squats in. I'm just able to zone out. I find that peace. The missus gets angry with me, but I call it my second sanctuary. It's that obviously my faith is my foundation for my life. That's huge. Don't want to go without saying that, but right there, man, is fitness, and it has just been huge for me with maintaining that focus, being able to decompress, keep my head in the game, and stay in the fight when I needed to be in the fight.
I mean, you're hitting on the points that it's like you've watched every episode we ever talk about, because we talk about mind, body, spirit, and that being your sanctuary, it allows your mind to decompress. You're still spiritually faithful, but you're working on that body.
Absolutely.
Because your body is your temple. And the other thing that we always talk about, which I think you're right along with, is I used to tell my officers, and I still tell people today, you need to rest. But rest is an acronym. Why? Because I spent 28 years in the Army. I make everything an acronym. You need to read, exercise, sleep, and think. Sometimes thinking about thinking and how you think, that works too. But no, I love it, man. I mean, we're like kindred spirits because I love doing the functional fitness type lifting, but I also love the long endurance because that really allows me to decompress. But what I've noticed since I got out of the military is by putting myself in a place where I'm hurting in a good way, but
Yeah,
where I'm lifting and working out and I'm hurting, it replicates in real life being in a dark place and pushing through it and then being able to reflect and go, I got this. Because
absolutely.
there's times where you get those demons. You know, I was talking to someone else about that, the demons in your head from a long workout saying, you know, I used to do Ironmans. I don't do them anymore. Now I do the shorter ones, but you're out there for 12 hours. You know, now you're at the end of the day, you run a marathon, right? That's a cool down event. Uh, and so halfway through the marathon, by that point, it's about 90 degrees in certain races, and you're wondering, why did I pay for this? Why am I here? What am I doing? But then, because you did that dark place, you can come back and say, no, go away. You know, silencio Bruno, like James and I talk. It is being able to name your fear and then conquer and push it out. But it was replicated in fitness. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
No, it does, absolutely. And I use a lot of the things that I did in the military, the situations I was faced with. And there's times where you do want to quit. You want to check out. You're
Mm-hmm.
cold, you're frozen to the bone. I can remember times, particularly being out when I was stationed with the first ID at Fort Riley. It's just flat plains, and it gets cold there, gentlemen. I know if you guys have been there anywhere close to the Midwest, you know the deal.
Yeah.
And we're out on those, your training didn't stop. So we're out in the field, and there were literally just times, and I know you guys experienced, James, I know you've experienced, Mr. Ranger, where you just wanted, like, man, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I quit, but
Yeah.
you find it inside of you somewhere because you made a commitment. And I'm going to tell you, that's probably one of the greatest lessons that I learned during my 28 years that is just paying me huge dividends today is
Mm-hmm.
you make a commitment, whether it's to yourself, your family, your clients, your staff, your team, you follow through with it. It doesn't matter how big the mountain is, how big the obstacle is, figure it out, find a way, but you get it done and you keep your commitment. You don't quit. Quitting is not
Mm-hmm.
an option. And I try to instill that into our clients here. It's like when you come here, get what you came for. Yes, it's hard. All that stuff you see on those infomercials, it's not real. They just want your money. This
Yeah.
sucks. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But
Sweat
it's
equity.
necessary. On the other side of it, you find results. You find victory. You find success. And just, embrace it. Do your best, but don't quit. So.
Yeah.
The thing
No,
about
I mean, I love it. I love the sweat equity, and Sean,
I use that. I like that. I use that a lot.
yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, I coach clients. I used to coach clients as well. And it was about that, and it taking military principles. You're here, the before picture,
Yep.
Current state, desired end state is here, the after picture, or what you
Yep.
want to be. What's stopping you from getting there? That's military planning, but it also goes to your planning as a client as a client of a fitness coach, and as a fitness coach with clients, is helping them see that and helping them realize their potential. And we used to say, you got to commit to be fit.
Yes.
Don't quit. Commit to be
No,
fit.
don't quit. Not easy.
the thing
Yeah.
about Kenny, he's a very humble person, so he doesn't realize this. But when we were deployed together, you were the company commander, I was a company commander. I would actually, I looked to my left and right flanks and say, hey, look, I want to emulate the ones that I want to be like. So I'm gonna let you know you were the one I picked. Okay. So
Appreciate
he
it,
was
brother.
the guy. True story. He'd be down in Mississippi. I'd be like, "Who's that guy going over there to the gym?" Now the bad news about him going to the gym was you knew there was all the weights are going to be used. So I never tried to go when he was there. When he was doing upper body, I said, "This guy's going to take all the weights in the gym." So that was the bad part. But the thing about it, though, he was always a quiet professional. I never, and granted, I didn't, I wasn't your first sergeant or anything. I never got to see him really get elevated with his temperature as far as his anger. He never let his anger show. And if you ask any of his soldiers, they would say the same thing. I mean, just cool, calm, collective. Never see him sweat. Always doing stuff. And he would do things, and he wouldn't even know people were watching, but we were watching him. I'd be like, man, that's what I want to be like right there. So anyway, sorry about that. I had to mention that.
Appreciate you.
Kenny, that's huge because James never said he looked up to me when we did PT, but that was probably because we did a lot of runs in Area J, and long sand trail runs.
Not fun.
I didn't look up to Marty because Marty's shorter than me. You're taller and bigger than me, Kenny. That's the only reason why I couldn't do that.
Hey, James, we got to get you over here, sir, for some workouts, brother.
Hey, I've been talking to you about the 2 ruptured biceps. I've been using that excuse long enough, right?
We will figure it out, sir. And there's always a workaround. That's why I tell my clients. So when we get them here, we start with a very thorough fitness assessment, medical history, and we'll do the same for you. Bring you over here. We'll find out all your owies and boo-boos, and we will figure out. We'll chart a plan to get you from point A to point B. We'll navigate it together.
That sounds like a plan. You got another Army officer over there. I can request his services too, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. At this point, I'm pretty booked. I stay booked, which is a good thing because I can remember days it wasn't quite like that. So it's a good place to be in. But no, definitely, Kenny, he will get you fit to fight, sir. Actually, any of the team here. We have a very stringent interview hiring process. So, anybody that comes on the frontline team, they're squared away.
All right. So here's what I want to do, Kenny. I'm going to say live and on the show, we've got about 4,000 people that watch this. So James is going to sign up with Kenny. We're going to start a plan so that we go from dad bod to that bod before we get to Podfest in Orlando.
When is it?
We'll do that. It's in Orlando.
What time?
It's May 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So got some time for him.
I need to get a look at him now before we.
He said he needs longer time. That's what he just said. He said he needs more time.
Part of my job is setting realistic expectations and goals.
I'm not expecting him to look like Arnold back in the 70s. I'm expecting just for him to commit to be fit, and we can talk about his progression. Absolutely. Awesome. and James, I want you to do some lives from Frontline Fitness Show.
Done. All right, it's done. We just had all those folks here, so I'm gonna get on your books.
Casey West, are you watching this? Are you hearing this, Casey West? I want you to follow up. So.
It's a done deal. We'll get that offline. We're gonna get that.
Absolutely. We'll square it away.
That's more in line with what he's going to do. I was trying to get him to do an Xterra with me because I'm a triathlon guy, and so I like the mountain biking and off-roading. But he's like, "Oh heck no, I ain't doing that." But get him in the gym again. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah, that's his terrain. I think he's comfortable in the gym environment. And now, believe it or not, James used to be a beast. I know he talks that talk now, but when we were in uniform, this guy, man, he was solid. He had guns probably bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, James was.
Now you're making me depressed.
No, you can get back to your former.
I'm just kidding. I appreciate it. Like I said, I was looking at you. I was trying to copy you and be like you. So that's what happened. Oh, and then of course my uncle's got to come in with a comment. You know that.
Oh, let's see it. He said, "Oh man."
Oh wow.
But
that's all good.
Gotta love Uncle Roy.
I tell you what, Marty, maybe now's a good time to cut to a break early so we could get right on into Frontline Fitness. So Kenny can explain the journey because it hasn't been a smooth journey the whole time. Leaving and transitioning from the military.
I love it. All right. Let's do that. Let's cut to commercial. Go recharge your coffee cup. And if you're drinking some coffee, hopefully you're drinking the Moet coffee.
Wait a second. Before we go to commercial, turn to the right.
Oh, no. Come on, man.
Turn to the right. What happened to your hair, man?
They got me. They got me, Sarge. They got me.
Oh, my gosh. He going back into the Air Force, right? That's what you were in the Air Force.
The point was grab some Moet coffee, James. It's on sale. Texas pecan blend. Let's get to commercial.
Garcia Schmidt.
And we are Logs of Mill Moves, and we are here today with Marty and James from Joint Task Force 214.
We just want to say thanks to Joint Task Force 214 and specifically Marty and James. We ran through some coaching, we were ready to pitch, and the results speak for themselves.
We won. Logs of Mill Moves is on the rise. Household packing for military families, a better quality of life. Thank you, guys.
You're watching the Lounge with Legends TV show with your hosts, Marty Martinez and James A. Feltz.
There he is. Let's leave it there. So if you're just tuning in, this guy right here, center screen, has just decided to sign up with Kenny of Frontline Fitness and document his journey as we march towards PodFest 2022 in Orlando, and we're going to document this. It's going to be great. So, but back to the main character.
Send the invoice to Marty. That's all. I send the invoice to Marty. I'm going to do the training.
Looking forward to it, brother.
I will do this.
All right. So James, you wanted to transition this and keep this rolling. So what do you got?
So, and Kenny helped me out with this. So you left after 28 years of military service. At what point did you decide? How did you come up with Frontline Fitness, and how did you know? Tell us about the process of getting started initially with Frontline Fitness.
Yeah. So as I got closer, when it became glaringly obvious that I was going to have to wait for a bit, at least another year or so, how we had the CMB Career Management Board, I got the lateral move, and I, it's just part of ego. I know there were guys ahead of me, other soldiers, other majors. But I was looking for that 05. I was looking for battalion command, and I was really hoping to get it early, regardless of the system or anything, just kind of delusional. So it turned out to be, things just to work out. Everything happens for a reason. And when it didn't happen, I kind of did the whole pouting thing, and I said, well, I'm going to take my ball, and I'm going to go home. And then I was faced with a really, really difficult decision, something that I really, guys, was not prepared to navigate. And that's, well, now what do I do? So I had an MBA in business. I've always had entrepreneurial ambitions, but I never really drilled down to the level of fidelity to identify or lock down exactly what I thought I could be successful doing. So I was probably about, maybe 8 months out. And I really started doing some soul searching and started talking to other people, people that were in my circle, obviously talking to the missus, talking to my wife, and just trying to figure out, man, what do I want to do? I really did not want to do anything where I was still connected, to the military. I kind of wanted to turn the page and kind of start a new chapter. And corporate America was really tempting. I had some offers to go to work at the Pentagon, to do the JRTC thing. Didn't want to do any of that stuff. So I just thought about what would I be happy doing, whether I got paid for it or was doing it for free. What do I enjoy most? So kind of the three components in my life that really completes me as my faith, my family, and fitness. And so I started thinking about, wow, can I do this? Can I actually make a living in fitness? And if so, how do I go about it? So that started the process right there. The wheel started turning. Then having spent so much time, this is where the military and some of the skills how they relate and transfer over. Having spent so much time as a operations guy, man, I was like in full-fledged MDMP. I did so much research. I started collecting facts and, looking at the pros, the cons, and, criteria and weighted, just all of that. Went out, started talking to other gym owners, and I really just started trying to paint a picture to figure out, how large or how small, what's the scope of this operation? What type of resources will I need? Will I need a business loan? Do I want to take from my savings? And just going through that process and shadowing other gym owners, there were some really generous people with their time right here in the Raleigh, Wake Forest area. I reached out to other gym owners who were doing what I wanted to do, and they were doing it successfully. And I said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I've been doing for the last almost 30 years of my life. And I want to do what you're doing. And I just want to know, can I come out and sit down with you for a week or so and just maybe shadow you and just ask some questions? And most all of them was like, yeah, great. Come on over, blah, blah, blah. I sent my questions ahead of time so they could have time to kind of, think about it or whatever. And I would just go and just watch them. And then when they were finished or they had a break, we sit down, kind of have some conversation. I would ask some in-depth questions, and after about 3 or 4 of those, at that point, I was convinced. I was like, okay, you got this. You can do this. And then I just started putting the pieces in place. I started writing the business plan. I started looking at procuring the funding, what type of equipment I would need, doing cost estimates, et cetera, et cetera. And when I had the completed business plan and I had the dollar amount, the missus, did that eye to eye with me. And she was like, yeah, we may want to look at, some external funding. And let's not take this out of savings. So I did that. I started going to different financial institutions, and I found a place that was really veteran friendly. They're connected with the Small Business Association, and they gave me a low interest loan. The Carolina Business Center is the name of the organization, Carolina Business Center. Very good group of people there, and again, very veteran friendly. And it was a great process. They're so engaged. Just kind of get them a plug. They're so involved in the process where after they give you the money, they assign you a business coach, kind of like a mentor. And you go to these different team meetings of other, brand new entrepreneurs, and you guys kind of share what you're looking to do, and you share ideas. And they kind of put you through several processes to kind of refine your product and kind of mentor you along the way. Now, though it's kind of shortened in length, I gleaned a lot from that. It was good to kind of have somebody as a sounding board and other fledgling entrepreneurs as well. And I saw that, wow, I'm not the only one dealing with some of these issues. I have these same questions. Anyway, long story short, put everything together, guys, did all the research, got the equipment, et cetera, and I retired 1 June 2017, 25 August 2017, I opened the door Frontline. It was an amazing feeling. I mean, it was just, man, I can barely put it into words, but I will tell you this though. If I had to do all over again, I would have started then the way I started on Frontline 2.0. Because what happens when you do something as long as we did, guys, you forget, at least I did anyway, I forgot all those stages of progression, the lessons learned, all those mentors that I had in my life, the Colonel Morrisons, the Colonel Wilkins, the Colonel Willifords, and all those guys, man, that really, really helped me develop, as a junior officer and as a leader. You forget about all those stages of development. And, when you get to the end of a 20+ year career, these things come second nature to you. Some of them are kind of easy because you've been doing it for so long. So when I got out, 2 of the biggest mistakes I've made was I grossly underestimated the learning curve that I would face as a small business owner. And the second thing that I grossly underestimated was the time requirement and the workload, the demand. Another thing that we don't think of, at least I didn't think about, is even at the lowest level as a second lieutenant, you have a squared away Sergeant First Class right there. You have at least 4 squad leaders and a whole platoon of smart people that can help you accomplish the task. When you open the doors to your business, it's you. And if you do have a staff, they're not invested like your brothers and sisters in uniform are invested into your dream. It doesn't work that way. So while I'm expecting overtime and commitment and let's grind it out, They're like, okay, I'll grind it out, but you're going to pay me to grind it out.
Yeah.
And when you're starting a business and you're working on a very limited budget, man, you just can't pay people. So you end up wearing 3, 4, 5 different hats. I remember cleaning a 5,000 square foot facility because I did not want to pay the money to have somebody come in and do all the cleaning. And that was alone, that task alone, when I finished, I could have just laid out, man. Put me in a foxhole and leave me there for the day. I was done. So it's a huge undertaking, and you don't have the resources available. At least I didn't, like I did in uniform. That were people that were in the fight with me. We got a mission. We planned it out. We resourced it. The resources were available, and we had executed the mission, and we got it done. So that right there was huge. But and eventually, I would have to say that ultimately led to my demise. Now, I mean, I did make some mistakes along the way, and I made a list. I share this everywhere I go. Top 5 lessons learned going through that process before I closed the doors. Because I was open, Marty, to kind of give you a little bit there, and all the viewers. I opened August of 2017, and in 2018, I was closing the doors. I didn't shut the business down, but I closed the doors to that facility. And guys, you want to talk about being at a low point?
Right.
When that happened, I took a week and I went to Myrtle Beach, me and the missus. It was a bust to my pride, which in hindsight, it was a good thing. A little bit of a dose of humility is good every now and again. I could have did without the dollars, but anyway, the lesson was great.
I feel you.
I can remember sitting on Myrtle Beach, just staring out at the ocean and just thinking, man, dude, how did you end up here? What happened? And how could the canopy and my reserve not open and I burn in? I mean, it was tragic. So about the third day of just watching oceans wash over me, I started doing an AAR, and that's when I started collecting these top 5 lessons learned. And the first thing is start small. When I started Frontline 2.0, I started super small. I didn't even have my own facility. I was renting space from another guy that owned a gym, Snap Fitness here, Drew Huffman, which I'm very, very appreciative for that guy. Opened his doors to me, which there's so many shady things happen in this industry. For him to do that, I mean, I just still value that today. And we still keep in touch, have a very good friendship. But start small. When I got out, I wanted to be the big dog. I wanted all the bells and whistles, spared no expense. I had an on-site spa with licensed massage therapists. I was negotiating a juice bar, trying to partner with a physical therapist. All those things are great, but it was just too big, too much, too soon. So that was the first lesson learned. Just start small. And as your business grows, as you generate more revenue, then you can expand. You can buy extra, equipment and different things. But when you start with what you need, not maybe what you want, and go from there. Pre-selling. I waited till I opened the doors before I sold my first membership and my first personal training package. Man, I should have been pre-selling when I first had the concept and I had the business plan all locked down. I should have started pre-selling right then. When you open the doors, it's too late. If you don't have your revenue ready to come in, man, you're already behind the power curve. And that's what it was. I already had a ton of overhead, but no revenue coming in. So anyway, that was a wash. Networking and marketing, doing things like this with you guys, those things got to be done way out. You can't wait till the doors are open before you start. And in my mind, I was thinking, well, I need something to show. I need a product. I need this nice, shiny gem. No pun intended. I'm actually talking about some type of jewel to show, to attract people, so that I'm like, I want them to see this beautiful thing, before I start marketing it. No, start selling as soon as you have the concept. Emergency business fund. I don't care if you can only put $50 a month away. It's more than what you had, and you will need it. So start as soon as you can. And then, once you get your business fund squared away, emergency fund, then you can go out and start doing those extra things that you like to do for your facility or whatever. And don't go it alone. You again, doing something as long as we did, we got it. And even though we've learned for years not to plan in a vacuum, my business coaches told me, my wife told me, hey, why don't we start a little smaller, and we just, as we grow, we get bigger and bigger. No, we're going to go big or go home. And yeah, I had to do the duffel bag drag. I went home. So 2.0 has been wonderful, though.
Those are great tips, Kenny. I mean, I took notes there in those 5, and I'm thinking to myself, man, those are golden nuggets of knowledge there. Because I mean, we all are guilty. I think, I can only speak from our experiences because we're veteran, retired veterans, and we are used to performing at such a high expectation that we want to deliver our results. And I think that's what sometimes we get in our own way. And then we think that we have to have that shiny object, like you said, that finished product, when this is a work in progress. And I mean, those are great things. And then start small. I mean, that you cannot say that enough. That's every single business. I tell everyone now, hey, start small, stay lean. Just because if not, you're going to overextend yourself. And then what happens when you overextend? You run out of cash flow, your doors are closed. So how did you pivot, for the ones that don't know, how did you pivot from 2.0, and what were you doing? I kind of know this thing because I follow your journey. So what were the things that you did during this COVID situation to leverage your, to springboard you forward to where you are right now?
Absolutely. So again, working in someone else's space, paying rent, things were going well. Clientele was building up. I had built a really good, solid base of clients. People were getting results, and Frontline was kind of, we were gaining steam, and we were increasing our footprint in the Raleigh, Wake Forest, Durham, Knightdale, and the surrounding areas. Then COVID hits, and all the gyms have to close. So now my entire industry, the entire fitness industry, is put on lockdown. And it was like, are you kidding me? Now, we start making momentum, we're rebounding, and then we run into this. So the weather was nice, because I think the lockdown initially happened, it was
March 17th. March
Was
17th.
that? Yeah.
March 17th.
So the weather was great. So, I said, man, what we're going to do is we're going to take this operation outside. I said, we're going to buy some equipment, commercial equipment, that we don't mind it getting beat up. I went out, I purchased a trailer, I upfitted the trailer so it could house everything. We had we had a full commercial mobile gym in an 8x12 trailer. I got the trailer, I logoed it up, I have my company trunk with the logo and everything on it. At 400 hours every morning, we'd roll up on scene with the trailer, and we would set up this full outdoor gym to include the same type of rubber flooring you would find in my facility today. I bought 3 12x12 big giant circus tents, black and red, of course. And we had commercial bikes, exercising bikes. We had battle ropes. We had everything you can think of, bumper plates, commercial barbells, et cetera, et cetera. And we continued to train outside as if we were inside. And I'm going to tell you, during COVID, we grew. While many, unfortunately and tragically, while many of my colleagues and other trainers and other fitness, facilities were going out of business, man, we were blessed significantly to grow. We grew so much that I had to hire people because I was turning away business. I was referring, 3 and 4 clients a week to other trainers in the area because I just could not facilitate the demand. It was great because people didn't want to go inside gyms. Gyms were closed. And people, when they did reopen, people didn't want to go inside the gym. So being outside and having commercial equipment outside with cover, man, it was great. So we grew and expanded. So at some point, and it was something, because I tell you guys, I was thinking to myself, man, do I really want to try this again? Do I really want to get another facility? Because when you come through something like that, man, that's I'm going to tell you, it impacts you. So, again, I conferred with my trusted circle, and we went from having a full mobile outdoor gym with 3 circus tents to this facility we're in today. And we've just been steamrolling ever since. I got a staff of 5 high-speed certified fitness professionals. You can see them on the wall behind me. One of them is my son. He's my general manager. And my daughter, she works here as well. And 2.0, this is what I envisioned the first go around.
One of the things I want to share with everybody. This is your website, and that's your current facility behind right there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So what I love about this, and what I love, this image, picture's worth 1,000 words. The videos are worth $1 million, I think, in this, because what you're doing and what you're showing is, one, you made it through COVID. You're working through these tough times, but more importantly, you're meeting people no matter where they are in their fitness journey. Because a lot of people get nervous or scared about going to a gym because I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel. I busted 2 biceps lifting a washing machine, so they get intimidated by it. But I love it. When I look at this, I'm like, dude, this is my gym. I wish I was closer because this is awesome. One, I love to lift heavy stuff repeatedly, and I love flipping tires. And I'm like, I love it. So right now I'm out of my garage, but this is great, man. I love what you're doing and how your clientele looks like everybody. Your clientele looks like everybody, to include Spartan 6 now.
Absolutely.
Now, before we do any footage for me, let's make sure we get a few months under the belt before you give me on any pictures or something.
No. It's part of the transformation. That's what we celebrate on the show. Transition's easy. The transformation is what's difficult. It's getting your brain housing group right. And what I want you to do is, day one, when you show up with Kenny, I want you to be with your phone and be like, all right, day one, here's what we're gonna do, and you go in, because we're gonna follow you on this journey. We're gonna keep tagging Frontline Fitness on this.
Okay, sounds like a plan. That sounds like a good plan. Now you briefly mentioned your son. Now your son, the fun fact about your son, I joined the reserves. I left the National Guard, went into the reserves, and I ran into another Kenny Ragsdale lieutenant. I was like, what happened? Did he get retired and get demoted? And then I walked in, and your son's sitting there. So you have your son and your daughter working there. What are they doing there for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Besides, being a part of the lives of my clients, and that's something I never get used to. I never get tired of it. It never gets boring. Is watching your clients as they make that progress. When you have somebody come to you and they may be 100, 150 pounds overweight, and you're 6, 8, 12 months down the road, they started like this, now they're like this, and they come in and I cannot tell you how many times this has happened, guys, where somebody come in and they're literally in tears, and you're like, oh my God, what's happened? What's going on? And, they're like, I got a compliment from my spouse, and I haven't received a compliment from them in like freaking 100 years, but they gave me a genuine compliment and appreciate the changes and the hard work and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just, to be a part of some of these fitness journeys, it's huge. I mean, it's when I wake up, I'm literally thinking about some of the workouts and different things that I'm going to be doing with the clients. And particularly the ones that are really they're all in, they're in the foxhole, they're in the fight, they're doing the things that you ask them to do. They're making steady, consistent progress. Those are the ones you're excited, man. You're up here and you just, it's just, again, not to beat this term up, but it has intrinsic value. It's not even about the money. It's just seeing that and being a part of that. Again, that's that mountain. That's that, that thing that's bigger than us. So being a part of that is awesome. But the other thing is, to your point, James, having my kids here, my son, being able to mentor and develop him. I didn't get the opportunity to do that in uniform because, our past never crossed. We was in different organizations, both Army, but he was in the reserves and I was National Guard. So never had the opportunity to mentor him directly in uniform, although from a distance, try to give him his autonomy. But having him here and grooming him and developing him to understand the business, not only just how to be, a good trainer, but to understand how business works and to get some of those things that I desperately needed, as a fledgling small business owner, I can pour into him and help him because who knows, 3-5 years down the road, the plan is for me to rotate out and I can do a battle handoff to somebody that I know is competent, capable. They have all the right grooming. They have the tools that I've had an opportunity to help equip him with. So I know that he's good and he can continue to fight the fight and move us down the battlefield. That right there, man, is huge. I mean, as a dad, you always want to, you want to know when you're finished here that you have set your kids up for success. Just like as a company commander or whatever, before you rotate out of command, you want to make sure that you really squared away your XO and your lieutenants, and you really put them through the ringer, and you're giving them the realistic training, et cetera, et cetera. You didn't baby them, but you made them soldier up, and you feel like you've mentored them. And when you walk away, when they're handed a company command or they earn a company command, you want to know that you did everything within your ability to help them be ready for that. So having that opportunity with my kids here, my son, he's a general manager. He manages the staff. He manages the training program that we have here. Whenever we get a new staff member, he manages all the onboarding process. And it's all the training. He gets them indoctrinated. He makes sure that they're squared away. We take them through a very rigorous training program to make sure that they treat our clients properly. Well, you'll see when you get here, James. Yeah, you'll see. So yeah, that piece of it has, man, it's been huge, to have them here. And then my baby girl, she's 19, senior at NC State, and she is my admin assistant, and she keeps the place tidied up for me. I don't know how often I would see her if she wasn't employed here. So that within itself is a benefit.
Well, you got the blessing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's huge, guys.
Awesome.
So it's I think we've come to that time where we ask you the question, and want to thank A-Rod Salute to Suits for being our show sponsor and giving us the Free to Mean moment. And more importantly, we're probably going to have to get James a new suit come May because he's going to be a little bit more svelte. But yeah, fit to fight, svelte. But
felt so good.
Felt so good. But we're going to ask you, Kenny. You've served and you've sacrificed, and your family has served as sacrifice as being a member of the Lieutenant Dan Club. For us, freedom means something just a little bit different. It's a little bit different than for our civilian counterparts. So we ask you, Kenny, what does freedom mean to you?
Had you asked me that question, guys, prior to seeing it firsthand in other countries, how other governments work or don't work, however you want to look at it, I may have had a very different answer. But seeing firsthand when huge populations of a nation are denied the basic freedoms in life and are treated as property and not as citizens, it really helped me to respect and value what we have here in this country. So if I had to put it in a statement, I would have to say a nation or a society that is where tyranny, does not exist, where you can take a guy like myself from the inner city and I can become essentially whatever I'm willing to work to become. So today, I sit here today in front of you because of the freedoms that I have, or we have in this nation to be a small business owner and to take this to whatever level I want to take it to. And the same for my kids and their kids, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so it's to, for every citizen, regardless of your demographic, et cetera, to have access to the same opportunities. And if you see it and you want to be it, if you believe it, then you can achieve it. And that's what I believe.
Brother, I love it. See it, believe it, achieve it. That's what I got. I love it, Brandon. I'm gonna have to put that on a shirt. But no, James was right. Get your pen and paper out because there's a lot of knowledge being dropped, and we learned from you, man. And I really appreciate it. I'm glad. Thanks to James for making this episode happen, because this is a great one. And we're definitely going to see more of you. I have a feeling.
Absolutely.
We're going to see him on live stream.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to bring you back on. We'll have to figure out. I want to bring you back on and do like a midpoint check-in. Let's set like a 6-month goal. May's not going to be the goal, but we'll set May. We'll do a midpoint check-in where we can bring you back on the show and talk about what's going on.
Absolutely, guys. Look, I wanted to say thank you for having me on. Truly honored, man. This is an awesome show, and you guys are doing great things for veterans, man, and all around. So appreciate you.
I appreciate it, and thanks to Nick Feltz, and we even got Navy in the house. He must have sailed in under the radar here, but thank you, brother. And again, we'll see more of you, and we'll see more of you, and hopefully less of James.
Oh,
absolutely. That's the plan.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Oh man, what'd you sign up for? What'd you sign up for? Why'd you do that?
I don't know. Peer pressure, man. Peer pressure. But this is good though. I need that. Reading the book 12 and a Half by Gary Vee, you got to have that kind candor and accountability. So you guys just going to hold me accountable. So I appreciate that. I'm going to do it. I'm coming your way, Kenny.
You have no choice. We've got roughly what? Well, I think we're up to like 14,000, 15,000 followers. So you've got the Lounge with Legend Legion out there that is following, and then you even got Navy out there supporting you. Wrong one.
I tell you, this I already knew was going to be a great episode, and we just touched the surface of what he's actually been able to accomplish and what his family does. He barely mentioned his daughter that just got out of the Air Force. His son's still in the Army. I mean, they are just, I'm telling you, they're doing some amazing things. I can't wait to be surrounded in that environment. So you actually signed me up for a great thing, because I'm going to be around Kenny Ragsdale Jr. again, and the family there at Frontline Fitness. We might need to move that date to May 2023, if that's okay, though. May 2023.
No, commit to be fit.
All right, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready.
Dream it, achieve it, commit to it. I should have wrote it down, but whatever he just said, write that down. But that was a great episode, and looking forward to next week. Next week, got a surprise. That's me. Sorry. We have a surprise guest coming on, and it's going to be a great episode. So thanks to Kenny. Looking forward to following this journey with James. It's going to be great. Be sure to go out and go get some Moac coffee. We're going to we're going to drop the link on where you can get your own Texas pecan roast, the mother of all coffees.
And if you want to join me too, come out to Frontline Fitness. Join me in this journey. Let's get some more people out there.
Yeah,
as well.
If you're local in the area, definitely let's figure out how we can do this.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
You've been watching the Lounge with Legend show, countering the narrative that veterans are all broken misfit toys. Veterans are the lifeblood of American freedom.